Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tony Chimmel, and welcome to Road Trip After Hours. Please welcome your hosts, Mac Davis and WWE Hall of Famer, Teddy Long. Holler!
Holla, player. 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 Holla, player.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Road Trip After Hours. I'm your host, Mac Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. WWE Hall of Famer, holla, holla, Teddy Long. Hey, Teddy.
Holler back at you, Maxter.
Man, I saw you on TV just a couple of nights ago here. You were involved in the Dark Side of the Ring that featured JYD. Tell us a little bit about that experience. I know that you had told me that you'd worked on a project. You couldn't say much about it. Obviously, that was the one. But tell me, how that all come about, and how did you think it went?
Well, I thought everything was good. I looked at it, and I thought they put the thing that they put together on JYD. I thought they did a hell of a job, man. It was really good. That's the first time that I really sit down and really looked at one whole episode, and I really enjoyed it. I've looked at a lot of the episodes on there, but I just sit down and watch this whole thing, and that went well. I think we did that like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Then when we recorded it, and so now they just not got it aired. But I want to thank those guys over there at Dark Side of the Ring for letting me be a part of that, and just everything was great.
Fantastic. It was a great show. There are a lot of things about JYD. I think if you're an older fan, that was a must-see episode because JYD was so much a part of my wrestling growing up because, like I said, I'm from the South. And if you didn't see JYD, you weren't watching wrestling because he was on a lot of programs that were popping around on the shows. And they went over that during that entire piece they did on him. I really enjoyed it. I just wish that we were still seeing JYD around today.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, too, that really surprised me, I didn't know his daughter had passed.
No, I did not know that. And I wasn't, how quickly after he passed did she pass? I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, that was something that was something I had no clue. That she had passed away, and it was just a horrible thing for that entire family.
Yeah, that really shocked me. I definitely didn't know that that she had passed. I had a chance to meet her too.
Did you have any personal memories with JYD that you can share?
Well, I rode with Dog. Me and him rode together for a while. We he's funny, man. We had a lot of great fun. The the memories that I got with me and Dog, I'd rather just keep them to myself.
Yeah. That always, that's why I always preface that question with that you can tell.
Yeah, well, I can tell it, but you know what I mean. Like when a guy's pass on, and to go to telling stuff, like some stuff like that. I heard a lot of guys say on the dark side of the ring. I maybe I wouldn't have said it. I mean, the only thing I said is what JYD told me, and as far as I know, that was the truth. But like I said, I had so much fun with Dog, man, and I'm just as guilty as he is because we all been there, done that. So,
and so success came at him really fast, and for a guy who didn't have any money when he started out, and ended up with all of that money. That I don't think people realize just how much money can really cause you trouble, even though it seems like it's great to have money, and it is. At the same time, if you're not used to handling that money and what to do with that sudden rush of money, you can fall into trouble, and that's what he did.
Well, I think that's what a lot of guys that get in this business, they make a lot more money than they ever made in their life. It was with me. I made more money than I ever made in my life. So I was stupid too. Didn't have sense enough to save. Didn't want to talk to me. Somebody told me about I need to put my money in the bank, and I think I cussed them out and told them I can take care of my own money. I don't need no bank, And I, just didn't have a clue, just having a good time, dropping the balloons, man, just partying, just throwing away money. I didn't even understand about, you're supposed to pay rent and bills and your car pay. Yeah, I didn't even get that. Yeah. I'm like, brother, I'm telling you, I'm dropping the balloons. I'm having a ball. So I messed up a lot of money, and when I finally come to my senses and realized, what I was doing, and how stupid and what an idiot I was, I just asked God to give me another chance, and if He give me another chance, then I know what to do this time, and He did do that. And so, brother, I'm telling you right now, you want to know about a cheap man? You ask Bradshaw and them; they'll tell you how cheap I am.
Oh yeah, I've heard the stories. I've been around. I've been around you. You're not so stingy anymore, though. You not that I can tell. I mean, maybe you are, but I don't see it like they've said stories. But
I had to learn that that you don't buy what you want, you buy what you need.
Yes.
So that's what I had to learn too. So it's just so much I had to get educated on, man. And I think a lot of the guys in the wrestling business, their upper heads, they knew that I didn't have no sense. So that's why I probably should have made more money than I was making. But they know I was so happy with that money because I ain't never had no money till I never did get my raises because I didn't know how to ask for them.
Actually, that's later on. We have a question in the mailbag about that, a little bit about well, you'll see. I don't want to bring it up right now. Hey, look here. While we have a chance before we take a commercial break, I want to bring up a few things that I saw just last night on AEW programming. In fact, I sent you a message immediately after something had happened that shocked me, to be honest. Sting was he was tag teaming with Darby Allin against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. And Sting climbed a ladder in the ring to two tables that were too far away. They were set too far away. And even Taz, during the call of the match, kept saying, the table's too far away. And I knew Taz knew what he was talking about. And you knew that he was being serious. That table's too far away. And here's a 62-year-old, I think that's what Sting is, 62-year-old man, climbed on top of that ladder, barely making that first table, knocking his jaw and teeth into the edge of the second table. Teddy, I don't want to take this away either. It was a great match, really. It was a match that I didn't expect to see from Sting, but at the same time, does he need to be doing moves like that? That's a risk I'm not sure he even needs to take anymore.
Well, here's my thing, man. I think there's a lack of communication here. Now, like you said Taz was saying on the commentary, the tables are too far or whatever the tables, whatever he was saying. Well, when he was saying that, I know somebody was paying attention to that. So what I'm trying to figure out, if you're listening back there, you're in the gorilla position, you're listening, Taz is saying this, then why ain't somebody relaying something to the referee? He's got a headpiece in his ear and tells Sting, hey, these tables are not, they're not right, don't do that.
Yep.
So it's a lack of communication. If that had been WWE and something was going on like that, when that announced the guy was announcing that, everybody in Gorilla heard that. And they would have relayed that to the referee, and the referee would have got to Sting and told Sting, hey, those tables are not right, don't do that. So I don't know whether that happened or not, but the way I see it is just a lack of communication.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to read you back what I sent you last night, just so people know. I said, in this picture, there's a picture of Sting climbing the ladder that he's about to jump from. Look at the ladder. Darby is on one side. Sting is coming up the other side until he reaches the same height. He then turns, jumps onto Sammy Guevara on the table. Freaking long way. That was one of my comments. He barely made it and looked to be shoot hurt. He finished, and he looked to have blood from his mouth. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke a rib, because honestly, when he first hit that table from the angle they showed it, it looked like he went sideways right into the edge of that table with his ribs. I thought he was in worse shape than he was, but it seems like he just kind of loosened a tooth and busted his lip that had to get stitches. But again, I just don't see why somebody didn't say Sting does not need to be doing this.
Well, like I said, I think it was a lack of communication. I don't know. They may have been telling this Sting, but I can't see Sting, and me knowing him, I can't see Sting doing something if somebody told him it's not safe. I don't see Sting doing that. I don't see Sting. He's never been one of those guys that's been hard-headed. You know, there are some guys that are hard-headed. You can tell them, don't do it, and they don't care. They don't listen. They'll go ahead and do it anyway, because that's what they designed to do. They just want to do that. But I don't see Sting doing that. So like I said, if the communication wasn't a problem, then I just don't have any idea, what went wrong, or why would Sting put himself, in danger like that, knowing you may get hurt, So I don't understand it. But like I said, I'm glad that it's not any worse than what it was. I'm glad he didn't, do something where he had to be hospitalized. So I think, from here, Sting will, kind of, look at things a little bit different now.
And Teddy, if you haven't seen the entire match instead of the clip of him jumping, if you see the entire match, it was actually entertaining. And it was surprising to see the life that Sting had. Sting did look like he was ready to go, had more energy than I've seen in a long time. But just when he was climbing that ladder, having been in a ladder match myself before, I know from the way that ladder looked and how far that table was, as soon as Taz was saying it, my mind was saying the same thing. And the people's faces on camera, they actually caught some of the fans who looked like they were appalled that he was about to do this, because it was like, no, why are they letting him do this?
They saw it.
Yep. The fans saw it themselves. Hey, something else.
That's the only thing I can see. Like I said, I wasn't there. I may be wrong, but the only thing I can see, there's a lack of communication.
I agree. Somebody needed to save Sting from the damage that he took by
they heard Taz off. You heard Taz saying it.
Yep.
They all heard it. So there's no reason why that that somebody couldn't have done something.
I agree. Look here, another thing on AEW that I want to bring up that was a little bit controversial. At least for me, I wanted to get your opinion. Jungle Boy, who was a fan favorite in AEW, he's actually the son of, Perry. I can't remember his first name. Jack Perry, or I think his name is Jack Perry, but I can't remember what his dad's name was. But his dad was a famous actor at one time who passed away. So now he's a bad guy. He comes out and he's trashing the fans, but he made a comment that actually stopped me in my tracks when I was listening. And he was ranting on and on about how much of a badass he is. And he says, and I'm also banging the hottest bitch in wrestling. Teddy, in today's age, banging the hottest bitch, is that something that you can see Vince McMahon allowing on TV?
Vince would have fired him immediately.
Yeah, that to me was, you could have said something like, I'm banging one of the hottest chicks or something like that, but you don't say you're a bitch. You don't call a woman a bitch.
Who cares about who you're banging?
Yeah,
that's not part of the story. But if you're going to talk about something, talk about your match and talk about your opponent and talk about how tough he is and what you're going to do to this guy. You know what I mean? Banging the baddest girl in the so what? Who cares?
Well, he's got to do something because he's only about 5'2", so
Well,
he's
like I
actually
said,
probably
then he
taller than
really
that. But
then if he's 5'2", then he really shouldn't be talking about banging nobody. He should be talking about what his ability and what he's doing in the ring, because that's what's going to draw money, is his ability to perform in the ring. He ain't going to draw no money talking about he banging the baddest girl in the territory. That don't sell tickets.
and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I'm gonna say it anyhow. One of the reasons why some of the bigger guys that came over to AEW from WWE, the reason we don't see many of them on TV is because most of the talent with AEW are small. In comparison to these guys, and they're trying to say that they're champion. Like even MJF, he's built, he's got a great mouth, but he's not as big and mean looking as some of the guys you see in WWE. That's where I think AEW's got to sit. They got to sit there with their cruiserweight kind of championship program that they have, and leave the big guys to WWE, because they can't mix them because it doesn't seem to work.
Well, I wouldn't worry about them. You know what I mean? They ain't worried about what WWE's doing, and they're not gonna try to, brand their product off of what WWE is doing. They're gonna do their own thing. So, somebody's there there are a lot of guys there that know about this wrestling business and know how this is supposed to work and how this supposed to go. So I leave it on them, because there are guys there that know, and so if they ain't getting it, then I don't know what the problem is.
Now, we'll say this just so that the folks in AEW don't think I hate them. I actually enjoyed the show. I thought it was a good show this past Wednesday's Dynamite. Those were just a couple of them nitpicking things that I see, and a couple of them that I thought that kind of really stood out and could have been maybe avoided early on. Teddy, are you ready to take a quick break? And we'll come back and we're going to do Ask Teddy.
We appreciate your time, and we are sorry for the delay. Staff are working diligently to get to your call, but if holding is inconvenient for you, please contact us on our website.
What are your callers hearing when put on hold? With Smart Hold, we offer no contracts and low pricing. Visit us now, smart-hold.com.
It's coming. New location, new class, same great weekend. From our home in MVP Arena, Albany, New York. It's a night of living legends and legends lost. The International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Your host for this year's event, from Road Trip After Hours, Mac Davis, and WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
We're back with more Road Trip After Hours. I'm your host, Mac Davis, along with my WWE Hall of Famer co-host, Mr. Teddy Long. Hey, Teddy.
Hey, we're back at you, player.
All right, it's time to Ask Teddy.
Letters, oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
All right, Teddy, here we go. Question number one. Glenn in Pennsylvania asks, and this is where we go back to something you had said earlier in the show. Did you make money from WWE merch sales?
Well, when I first got on the video games, the Raw versus SmackDown, I guess 2007, 2008, I believe what it was, and I made a little money on that video game. That was one of the biggest checks I think I'd ever I'd had. I think my check for that first check I got off of that video game was about $80,000, and
Excuse me. Wait. What'd you say?
I got $80,000 off of the 2008 video game.
That's incredible. That's good money. I don't. At least to me, it sounds like that's good money for being on the video game.
It was $80,000, and then after I guess WWE took theirs or whatever, I think I ended up with maybe $40,000 or something like that.
Still, I mean, that's sweet. What about
Well, yeah.
T-shirts? Did you
Yeah,
get
that's-
T-shirts?
No, I didn't have any T-shirts. Well,
No, I-
no, I didn't have any because the
How
only
did
time I
they-
think they made T-shirts is when I went in the Hall of Fame, and then they made some more. They made 2 different shirts.
How did they not have shirts for you during your run as a general manager for SmackDown?
Well,
Like one-on-one
yeah.
with the Undertaker, holla player, anything.
You have to talk to John Laurinaitis.
That's a freaking no. That's criminal. I didn't know that, Teddy. That's just downright criminal.
He kept me in the dark on a lot of stuff, and like I said, I told you he hated me for some reason. I don't know, but I do know. But anyway, like I said, this man walked up to me and told me that he talked to the consumers, and the consumers told him that they would not buy my action figure. He told me that to my face.
He's full of shit.
Okay, so that's what he's doing. He's letting me know then I ain't making nothing for you. And like my Hall of Fame deal, my Legends deal, I never did get that with him. Finally got one. After he got fired, got all right. So like I said, man, it's unreal.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Vince didn't see the money in the T-shirt sales that could have been there. I mean, honestly, that's just as a businessman, there was money to be made in those shirts. No matter whether this guy wants to screw you out of your money, whatever. Vince is a businessman, and he should have said, "I'm making those shirts whether you like it or not because they make money."
Well, like I said, Vince is busy. He has a lot of stuff to do, so I can't blame that on Vince. You know what I mean? Because he can't watch everything. That's why he got some of these guys hired. That's their job. They're supposed to do that, and
he's only hearing what they say.
Yeah, and they knew that. That they were the guys, and I'll say they because it was him and Macarona. They both were against me. So, like I said, they knew.
All right, let's see. Let's move on to Amy in Alabama, who wants to know, have you ever had to try and break up wrestlers in the ring in a real fight?
Yes, I did. One time back, was back in the day when I was refereeing, I had Steve Dr. Dev William and Road Warrior Hawk, God rest their souls. We was in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I think Doc was a little bit stiff with Hawk. He popped him, and and I think Hawk looked at him. Okay, brother. And next thing I know, Hawk pops him right back, zings him right back. And then I'm getting there. I see what's happening. I'm not really sure, whether this is real or what. So I try to get in there and tell, hey, come on, guys, come on. They grabbed me. Well, who was? I think Doc grabbed me by the shirt. He took me and he set me in the corner. And he told me, you stay there until we get you out.
Oh, boy. Let's see. Travis in Rhode Island writes, people, other wrestlers, have said that The Undertaker's entrance gave them legit goosebumps. Did a moment ever do that to you live in the ring?
No.
You never got goosebumps from getting in there and going, whoa. Not even the crowd. Did you ever get a point where you're like, this crowd is incredible?
Well, I always, pay attention to what the fans are doing because that lets me know, what I need to do. Yep. So, yeah. I mean, I never did get like goosebumps or nothing, but, once you hear that dong, it's on.
Yeah.
So, my thing was, I'm just happy to be in there with these guys. I'm happy to be a part of Undertaker's story. I'm happy to be a part of Kane's story. I'm happy to be with Stone Cold. All these guys are on top, and I'm working right with them. So, it's certainly really an honor for me.
All right, let's see. Trying to find, where's it? Valentino Rossi.
I know him. Is that out of Texas?
Actually, it's from Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Valentino Rossi. It sounds like some kind of a wine or something. Anyhow, Valentino.
Well, no, you remember, I tell you what, you remember that guy that came in and worked when we were in IWN there, Valentino from Texas. He came with, what was the kid's name that worked with?
Tino Valentino.
Yeah.
Tino. That was his
Tino
name.
Valentino, yeah.
Yeah. Tino was actually very talented too. I don't know what he's doing right now, but super talented kid.
Well, he's probably working out in Texas, doing a lot of the indie shows. Yeah, he was real talented.
I think I saw him on one of Rodney's shows.
Yeah, well, he's probably working with Rodney Mack and Jazz with Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Also, the TSW there with Randy Klein and those guys, Texas style wrestling. So I'm sure he's doing some stuff with them. Yeah,
and Randy has told me he's going to bring us in sometime.
Well, I hear that all the time. You're
All
always
right.
gonna bring me in.
Valentino Rossi is asking from Miami, Florida, what was your pickup line when you were a young player?
I didn't have no pickup line. I just walk
Neither.
up to you, hey, come on, you want to go with me?
Look, that's pretty much how it was. It's either yes or no. I'm not going to waste time. So,
Yeah, we ain't got to waste no time. We know what we want to do, so either we
yeah,
do it. If you don't want to go, okay, thank you. Have a nice
that's
day. I'll move on to the next one.
you want to go get dinner? No, not really.
Okay, well, thank
It
you.
costs money. I'll just
Yeah,
go to the room.
save a little money on you, so let me try the next one.
Yep. All right, here we got just a little bit more time.
Okay.
Going long today. Let's see. Nancy's Name Association. Here you go, Teddy. Boy, some of these names, I don't even, well, we'll see. Al Snow.
Well, I mean, what are they asking me to do here?
They just want you to basically give your thought about each one of these names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Al Snow.
Al Snow, great guy. I had the opportunity to work with him when he was doing, what was the head? Is that what he had?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody needs head.
Yeah, I always enjoyed working with Al Snow, man. He was a character, man, but he was a great worker, man, and always had a good time with him.
And he's funny as hell. Some of his posts that he posts on Facebook have me just rolling sometimes.
Yeah.
So, hey, Al. Let's see. Big Boss Man.
Big Ray Trailer. You know, me and him come up together in NWA and WCW. I had a chance to work with Ray. Golly, what a sweetheart of a guy. And for him to go out like that, I mean, we could all suspect it because we all watched him, with the drugs and stuff. But we always think, man, well, maybe this guy's going to kind of clean his act up. But like I said, he just was a victim there. Sometimes the demons get you, and sometimes you can't shake them. So, but Ray Trailer, Boss Man, God, miss him, great guy.
Now, here's a name I'm really curious about because I actually had a crush on this lady, Lillian Garcia.
She was okay. She's kind of full of herself, but other than that, she was okay.
That's a shame because I always thought, man, that's just she was something to see at the time. So that was a beautiful.
Like
woman.
I said, she's a nice girl, but you know how some women like that. They know they got it and they flaunt it.
Oh yeah, I could carry that conversation on in a whole nother direction, but I'm not going to. So.
Okay.
Let's see, Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer. Oh yeah. God rest him too, man. He's great. Tell a story about him. Me and Paul we're talking one day, in the locker room. So I just got off the phone, with my wife. God rest her soul. So me and her was bickering about the dog. So she hadn't fed the dog. So I'm letting her, Tasha, please, you have to feed the dogs. I'm on the phone. We're just going back and forth. So anyway, I'm still upset about it. I hang up, and so I move around. So I see Paul Bearer. Me and him start talking, and he looks at me and said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Well, I just got off the phone with my wife, and she ain't feeding the dogs." I said, so me and her just going back and forth. And so about this time, she calls me right back. Okay, so I told Paul, I said, here she is. Now, hold on, let me get her. So I answered the phone, and Paul says, well, let me say hello to her because he knows my wife, okay? Yeah. So I let him say hello to her, and he gets the phone. He said, yeah, Miss Long, I just want you to know I'm listening to Teddy now. He's really ragging you about them dogs. He said, you don't feed the dogs. You don't take care of them. You just don't do nothing around. Oh, yeah.
What did Tasha do?
Oh, so he told you about what we've been talking about the dogs? Oh, so I had to hang up on her.
Oh, boy.
I said, I got TV. I'm trying to work, Tasha. I got to go.
I've got other ones here that they're asking about, so we'll have to make this kind of quick, Teddy, because we are running out of time.
Okay.
Rikishi is the next one.
Very good. Great guy, Rikishi, man. I love him because he always lets you know you got to stay on the grind.
Val Venus,
another great guy, man. I had a good time working with him.
That was a fun character while it lasted. I mean, you knew, and I know he had to know that it was a limited time that run would go with that particular, porn star character, but that was so well done to me.
Everybody has a limited time. Although nothing lasts forever.
That's true. Let's see. And finally, Tony Chimel.
Tony Chimel. Yeah, I love him, man. Me and Tony, a lot of people didn't know, Tony would always be in the ring, and I'd come down and I'd make this introduction. and he'd be standing behind me, and the people didn't know it. And I'd say, and whoever's coming out, and he'd be right back, here tonight, and he'd echo everything I said, and I couldn't say nothing because I'm in the ring, but he'd do that right behind me every time. I said, and you're gonna see so and so, and Tony, here tonight.
And by the way, those of you who are watching right now, the open of the show, you'll notice the voice is actually Tony Chimmel.
Yes, it is. That's
out
my
to Tony.
man.
Yeah. Teddy, we are out of time. In fact, we've gone over time. I've enjoyed it. You got anything coming up we need to talk about?
Well, let's see. July 17th, I'm going to be in Macon, Georgia, at the convention center. I guess that's what it is, a new building there now. So I'll be there for a big Comic-Con in Macon. Headed up to Charleston, West Virginia, around the end of August. I'll give you those dates. And I think that's kind of what's going on. I might be going up for Immortal Championship Wrestling on August 19th. They're having a big show there in New York. So I'll give more information. I'll keep you updated on that.
Sounds good. All right, that's it. We're out of time. I'm Mac Davis. That's WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and this has been Road Trip After Hours.
Holla!